Hello and welcome to another video. As usual, my name is Jeffrey, and if you're new to the channel, what we do here is basically we talk phones, basically every part of a phone. Now, I started this channel because lots of people will tell you about the latest phone, want to do the latest review and the latest, but nobody really talks about how to use your phone, like how to get the best out of it, battery, cameras, display and all that. So that's why this channel was created. So if you're new here, please do well to like the video, subscribe, it helps, and then hit the notification bell, because I've always got content coming through. So there's always content because I'm always in and around this community, so I always know stuff that's happening, and I always look for solutions and try to help post videos to help people as best as I can. So let's get started on this one. Batteries, how to care for your batteries. So I've got like a whole list of 10 things. I've got a whole list of 10 things that's do's and don'ts of taking care of your battery. So let's get started. One of the very first things you have to avoid with your battery is charging it up to 100%. That's actually very detrimental to the health of your battery. Now, most companies actually try to help you do this by using a software trick. Now, when your phone gets to 95%, they tend to make the software act as though your phone is 100% when it really actually isn't. Why? They do this to prevent you from charging your battery all the way up to 100. This is because lithium-ion batteries or light polymer batteries do not really like all the electrons moved to one side. It's actually very detrimental to the health of your battery. I have written like several posts about it. I'm going to link them in the description as well as in the comments as well. But if you've noticed, if you charge your phone up to 100 and remove it immediately, there is a very good chance that the battery is going to run down very quickly to 96 or 95 and then balance itself. But if you leave the charger plugged in for a longer period of time, then it tends to stay at 100% or 99% for longer. So there are software tricks. These software tricks are done to prevent you from basically like pushing all the electrons to one side. So basically when it's at 95%, like there's really no need for you to charge anymore. Just unplug it. So lots of people actually want to keep their phone at 100%. Yes, I know not all of us have access to electricity, abundant or constant electricity, so you want to make the best of the electricity that you have at a certain point in time. Yes, that is very true. But charging your phone up to 100 and leaving it on the charger, yes, there are people who will tell you that it doesn't matter. Actually, it does. It's actually one of the first things I learned when I was researching about batteries, that moving all of the electrons to one side and keeping it there is actually quite detrimental to the health of a battery. That's why most times if you buy a new phone or a new gadget, the battery is usually somewhere around 50, 60, 70, never full, never at 100. Because batteries are not really supposed to be like, all the electrons are not supposed to be kept there. It's supposed to be like a balance. Even if you read other blogs and other like battery focused like research, they'll tell you that if you want to save a battery, if you want to store a battery, for the most part, you should keep it around that midpoint, right? 50, 60, 70. That's one of the first things you should know about batteries. Never keep your battery at 100% for an extended period of time. Secondly, do not overcharge. Do not. Try to avoid it as much as possible. There are people who as soon as their phone gets to 96, 97, 94, it's back up to 100. They're charging it back up to 100. The phone goes down to 90, it's back up to 100. Like trying to like overcharge it and keep it at that position, it's really not healthy. That's the second one. You have to avoid it as much as possible. The third one, and this one is also another very important one, some people still hold on to this archaic idea that the best way to use is 100 to 0, 0 back to 100, 100 back to 0. No, this messes up the battery chemistry. You, as much as possible, as moving all the batteries of all the electrons in the battery to one side, moving it back to another side, and like that kind of like electron motion messes up the battery health. You should try to avoid that as much as possible. Another one that a lot of people do, yes, another one that many people do, is using their battery down to zero. Now the best part is, just as most companies have software battery protection, that when you get to 95 it tries to trick you that your battery is at 100, your phone also has that same kind of software protection that makes sure that you don't use your battery down to zero. So most of the time when your battery gets down to around 5 or 4%, your battery tends to like go off. The software, like, don't run it down, just turn it off, right? This is why, for most part, if you've noticed, a phone that runs down, if a phone runs down, give it a few minutes and turn it back on. There's a good chance that the battery will come on with 1%. There's a good chance that even if the battery doesn't come on with 1% and stays, there's a good chance that the phone will have juice to get you to that loading booting screen and then give you the battery low signal and then go off. That means that there is still battery in the device. But really, you should not, if your phone gets down to 5%, right, which technically should be, I don't know, I am surmising here, which technically should be 10%, because your phone won't, the software there won't let you run it down to zero. So it's mostly assumed that when your phone goes off, you still have around 5% or so left. If your battery gets down to 5% and you have no source of charging it, turn it off. Just simply turn it off. Never let your battery run down by itself. I know, yes, there's the accepted rule book states that 85 to 20%, that you should not let your battery go down below 20%, but not all of us live in Europe with 24-hour electricity. No. So if your battery gets down to 10%, 5%, turn it off. Do not use it down to zero. There's absolutely no need. You are damaging your battery by yourself. Partial charging is actually the best ways to, so that's 0 to 100 and you're not calibrating. If you're not calibrating your battery, there is really no need to be charging 0 to 100 and then running back down to 0. No matter your power situation, if you want your battery to last long for you, avoid that. Just use partial charging. What is partial charging? You use your phone down to 70, charge back to 90, give it a rest. You use your phone down to 40, charge to 60, 70 maybe, give it a rest. But that you use to 75, charge it back, give it a rest, unplug it as soon as it is full. Partial charging is actually the best way to top up your battery rather than the 0 to 100. Then another mistake that a lot of people also make is when it comes to chargers. Oh wow. You could actually, follow all of the principles I have stated earlier. Do not keep your battery at 100. Do not run your battery down totally to 0. You use partial charge. You unplug when full. But if you're not using a correct charger, or a charger that is specified for your device, or it's compatible for your device, that could be a problem. That could be an issue. Because I have seen people, when I get around public transport, and then you see these guys by the roadside, charger. How much this charger? I go charge your phone with madam, it will charge. How much is it? It's so amount. Give me charger. They stretch hand out the window, collect the charger, and then they are going home with it to go and charge. You shouldn't, but most of the time I mind my business. I mind my business. Avoid roadside chargers as much as you can. Avoid them. Avoid chargers that are not compatible with your device. I have posts about chargers and how you're supposed to select them. Again, I'm going to link it in the description or in the comments. But whatever you do, avoid incompatible chargers and avoid roadside chargers. Make sure that a charger you are getting is compatible, because an incompatible charger or a bad charger is one of the fastest ways to destroy your smartphone battery. Is one of the fastest ways to do so. Yeah, another one you should also look at is charging while using. I see lots of people doing this, charging while using. Come on, using and charging. Now, there are certain cases when you could actually use and charge your phone that it's not going to be like a big deal, like maybe just social media use, for example. watching a movie whilst offline use, scrolling through pictures while offline use. Like those tasks do not really consume a lot of bandwidth, CPU bandwidth, or a lot of battery power, so your battery will top up okay regardless. But there are people who actually are playing AAA titles online whilst charging, and the phone is hot. Heat kills batteries faster than you can say jack. Heat is the number one enemy of batteries. Extreme temperature. Now it's actually, I see people make posts about their phone exploded, it's the brand's fault, phone explode. I mean, yes, Samsung Galaxy Note 7, yeah, exploding bombs, that one is a factory error. At least the company acknowledged that. But there are many people who use phones that are not the Galaxy Note 7 and blow their phones up. Why? Because the phone is hot. They are charging it, the phone is hot, and they are playing a AAA title, PUBG, PES, it's eFootball now, Fortnite, NBA 2K, Grid Auto Sports, Asphalt, and the phone is hot, and they are charging it at the same time, giving rise to what is commonly called parasitic load, which messes up the battery, because the battery doesn't know if it should give power to the motherboard so that you play your game and accept at the same time. It's all just so messy. There's so much battery chemistry that lots of us are still trying to understand. But the experts have said, there are companies that will tell you that don't worry, you can be topping what. Please do not take them at their word. They actually want you to destroy your battery so that you'd buy another phone. They make more money that way. Avoid parasitic load, heavy parasitic load on your battery as much as possible. Then finally, there are some power sources that you should avoid. It's not every power source that you plug to. There are people, this one here, give me charger here, plug here. They are everywhere. They are always plugging everywhere. It's not all power sources that you should plug to. Car chargers, I have seen people complain that car chargers have messed up their battery. Certain solar panels in solar outlets that do not actually use very good inverters for current conversion and all that, could actually give your battery, battery may end up swollen. Bad power banks, usually the ones bought from the roadside, not from a verified outlet or from a shop or from a brand. Imagine a power bank that is as small as this, promising you 1 million milliamperes of battery capacity, something like this, for example. So, it is not every power outlet that you should be plugging to, right? It is not every stranger's charger that you should be plugging into your battery. Lots of people do this ignorantly. Now, obviously, I'm actually using it to shoot this video, so I can't actually show you, but this is my Redmi Note 9 Pro that I bought sometime in August of 2020, shortly after the pandemic and the lockdowns were out. I am still using this phone till today. This phone still gives me 8 hours of screen on time. I kid you not. 8 hours of screen on time. Now, like I said, I do not claim to be an expert. No, but these are the tips and tricks that I have been using. I have been mostly faithful to it, not always. There are times I sleep off and I forget to unplug, and I wake up with a start immediately and I jump and I remove it. So I'm not saying that if you miss a day, your battery is going to go bad. Absolutely not. No. But you should try your best as much as possible to keep to these guidelines. If you have a book, if you have a pen, you should write it down. I don't know, maybe after this I'm going to make a blog post and then put them down to help. But these are the stuff I do that they help with my battery usage, and so far so good. It's 2 years now, and I think this battery will still take me for another 2 years if I'm careful with it. Of course, charge cycles are going to go. The batteries don't stay the same forever. With every use they grow older and they degrade. That's a fact. But you can also help the process and make your batteries last longer for you, right? And that's that. I'm out. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.